So essentially, some of the main points that I'd like to go over in like the key takeaways for dominating 2023 is essentially these 4 key takeaways, which I think is the most important. So I really wanted to master goal setting, and already just being a part of this year, being 3 days in, it, for me personally, setting my goals, because I did them a couple of weeks ago, running through this technique, having this form of thinking was really beneficial to me. I heard from a mentor of mine that, and it was a group and a few people were mentioning it. They said, well, if anyone wanted to do goal setting and absolutely crush it, they would just read the book, The 12-Week Year, and then take all of the principles out of that and just simply follow that. Now, one of the most amazing things in the 12-week year is essentially it's removing annualized thinking, firstly by knowing your vision and knowing your purpose, and then just focusing on the first 12 weeks of the year, or whenever you set a block for yourself. And then you want to have some time off, whether it's a day, whether it's a couple of weeks, to reflect on what you're doing, celebrate the last 12 weeks, and then plan the next 12 weeks, and then just do those. So it doesn't matter when you start. It doesn't matter if you started from the 1st of January or not. It doesn't matter if you started on the 25th of December on Christmas Day. It doesn't matter if you start in a couple of weeks from now. All that matters is that you've got your plan and everything sorted out. And once it's created, you smash the 12-week. Now, the reason that that is so important is annualized thinking in terms of, annually I want to crush these goals and quarterly I want to crush these goals, makes you a victim to that structure. So that structure is like a bit of a victim mindset, because in case there is a bigger goal that happens or something else you need to pivot towards, or there's an opportunity that's not aligned with that goal, which is actually more aligned to your vision and your purpose, and you say no to that thing because you're too attached. You've made the attachment to your annual goal. And then if you break that up into quarters, then that also prevents you from, it makes you a victim of the quarterly goals and structures exactly the same way. Now, what's awesome about the 12 weeks is it also creates a sense of urgency. I need to crush this and get this thing done in this period of time. And then it's also flexible in terms of, okay, I've got this sort of time off. Now, as well, with annualized thinking, one of the negative parts of that's like, I've got this huge goal that I want to achieve and I want to get it done by the end of the year. Let's say something along the lines of, I want to make $1 million. And you're like, oh, cool, I need to do these things, but I've got all year to do it. And then you don't really start executing until March, April, whatever it may be, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And it's like, well, now you've just wasted 4 months of actually getting started in order to get there. And unconsciously, these things happen. So the number one most important thing, and if you haven't done this already, guys, is, I recommend it to all the people, get really clear on your vision and your purpose. If you haven't invested in yourself or whatever that is, understand what that most looks like first. So just to use as an example, my purpose is to challenge and set the standard for all inspiring leaders. So everything that I do is aligned with the purpose. Understanding the vision is a little bit different. The vision for myself specifically is I want all the people that come through any of my programs to be recognized as the reason that that person is so successful and absolutely crushing it and everyone can see it everywhere is because they were part of that community in that program. And it's hard to get into that. So I can't wait to create boundaries, make it like hard to get in. There's a rule like exclusivity. It's going to be so exciting. So that's sort of my vision. And I want people all around the world to recognize like, wow, that superstar there, they were part of the program. So that's the vision. So it's like, okay, well, how am I going to make that happen? And that's really easy. It's like, well, the quickest way to do that for me in my examples would be, well, what can I do in the next 12 weeks? And what are the goals that I most need to do and crush here, which is going to move the biggest needles to get to that as quickly as possible so that I can see it. And then have a little bit of time off and then focus on it again. Does that all make sense? And what does everyone think about that? And I want to hear some verbal feedback. So please, anyone just jump in and speak.
Yeah, I think obviously the part where you said you got to take a bit of time to reflect in between your goals is obviously important to sort of look back and how it's all going rather than just keep going forward with it and not stopping in the moment to sort of see where you're at.
Oh yeah. And why does that make sense to you?
I think it just makes sense to me because I don't know, I've seen it through people and myself is just to keep going through life and your goals and not stop to sort of reflect about if it's actually the right direction that you're going or as if you've sort of veered off, if there's more opportunities, you know.
It's so true because you might be getting towards a goal that you think is really good for you, especially if it's a year and you've committed to it. Then you do something, you're like, that's not actually the right goal, is it?
Yeah, sure.
Because now you've reflected on it. Like maybe a better goal for me would be something around here. All right, let's crush this for the next 12 weeks. Is there any other thoughts, guys? Anyone else? I'd love to hear someone else jump in. What do they think about that? And what was beneficial?
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. I think like mentioning to be clear on your vision and your purpose is probably like a big thing for me, because it can keep your goals aligned with what you're actually trying to achieve, as opposed to just like trying to throw goals out there and then you set them and then, you know, you're 2 weeks in, you just forget about them because you're not aligned with the goal. So I think, yeah, vision and purpose 100%, because it'll keep you on track to like what you really are trying to achieve.
So good. So important. Yeah. Is there anyone else? It's your time to shine. Feel free to jump in. If you're your first time on a masterclass or a call, like please talk. This is your opportunity to connect. One more person. I'll wait.
I think it also has to do with like the 1%ers. It's like if you can do the 1% right, it's going to make you 99% better in the long run. So it's like if you can do 12 weeks of going hard at something small, as long as it is aligned with your value, so your vision and your purpose, then at the end of the 12 months, if you do those small 12-week increments, you're going to be 99% better.
So true. Because so much point of our time is essentially like so much time that we actually spend doing things a lot of the time isn't really that important.
For sure.
When you think about the big things that make like the big levers, and we think about the most important stuff that we do, it doesn't take up all that amount of time. And one of the arguments that is used in the 12-week year is like, well, that time should be spent planning. So before you commit to 12 weeks of crushing it, is plan and figure that out. And we're going to get into that. So the 4 key takeaways: 1, the year, if you think about it, transfer your whole year to just make it 12 weeks long, whatever that goal is, and whatever like your vision and your purpose is, create a goal that's going to align with that. 1 to 3 goals, like 4 maximum, 1 to 4 goals. If you get 1 or 2, even better. And then just crush that within 12 weeks. 2, the real key takeaway is schedule in time to plan. If you're a FIFO worker, make 1 day of just planning whenever you're back. If you're someone who is a routine base and you work in a full-time job, it's like, cool. Well, Saturday mornings are very sacred time for me. That is when I train with no time, like into the gym. No time as in I got to train here and get out of this time. None of that. I like to train with no time in my schedule so I can have like the best session for it is for the week. Do the same thing with planning, whether it may be a Sunday, Saturday, Tuesday night, whatever it is. And that's just your planning day. Even to the point if you do it and you're just going over your plan, looking at it like, yep, everything there is great. So scheduling time to plan. Plan is not wasted time and it's not procrastinating. It's getting really clear on sharpening that axe so that when you chop down a tree, you get it down in one swing. So 3, structure is a portal to magic. So pivot in the moment if needs be. So with structure, if there's too much structure, it prevents magic from happening. Those synchronicities, those magic moments of you going, oh my goodness, I'm actually getting close to my goals. This is crazy. If there is certain amounts of structure that allow time for magic to happen, that's when magic happens, which is why I like the 12-week year. And then afterwards, not committing to a period of time. It'll be a day, a couple of days, week, 2 weeks, another month off, whatever it is, to plan out your next 12-week year before you execute that. If you think about like really high quality performance-based soccer teams or any team sport or bodybuilding, I like to use bodybuilding example. A lot of the time before a grand final, it's like a 12-week prep or 12 weeks to kick ass. Like before an AFL grand final, it's like, you know, the football players, you know, they're starting to play preseason, all these things. But then like the last 3 months is like when they got to crush because it's game time. And if you're getting kicked out of the, off the top, it's like, well, someone else is getting in there. You win the right game. And it's like, that's 12 weeks. They have to be, everyone has to be peak, absolutely crushing it. So that's what you sort of want to do for yourself and your own goals. And yeah, so for us is whenever you're ready in terms of 2023, whatever date it is, once you've got your plan sorted, which we're going to go through the template shortly, once you've got your plan sorted, crush the 12 weeks and completely commit to that. It feels great. I'm doing it at the moment and I just feel like so energized with currently what I'm doing. So like, this is exactly what I need to do, which is really good. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
I just have one question. Sorry to
Absolutely.
backpedal a little bit. With the structure as a portal to magic, you sort of touched on that too much structure doesn't allow for that potential magic happening. I'm assuming that magic is what you're explaining is that pivot. So like if if you have the structure in place to be able to do the things that you want to do and follow your plan, and then that pivot point is like, oh, something didn't go according to plan, so this is where the magic comes in. Is that what you're trying to explain there? Just so I'm clear on.
100%. So that is definitely one aspect. But if the question that I'd like to answer for you would be, okay, well, what is magic? Well, essentially that would be what I like to call like feminine energy, where it's basically creativity energy, where there's flow, there's synchronicities, it's intuition, it's getting in touch with how you feel about things. You know, when you get that gut feeling, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is right, but this thing is right. And then when you take that lean into your gut feeling and you're like, I don't even know all this crazy, amazing things just happened because I trusted my gut and I went with that. And I allowed time for creativity. And holy, sometimes you might spend, let's say a week, you have a week off, right? And you got nothing to do. And you might not even realize that you just really wanted to start a podcast. And you come to the point like, yeah, I've been thinking about it. And then on the third or fourth day of you having your week off, you're like, I'm actually just going to start a podcast. And then you start a podcast and then you get all these amazing feedback and you had so much fun with it and it's serving you for your mission and your goals. But you didn't get there because you didn't take the time to go, you know what, I actually have time to start a podcast. I'm actually going to do it right now because I had a week off and that's going to serve me to the goals. Oh, and it actually serves my vision. Oh, and it actually serves my purpose. Oh, and it's helping everyone around me. And it's actually boosting this and this and this. That was the best decision I could have made. Magic.
Yeah, cheers. That explains it. Sweet. Thanks.
That's one aspect. So it's all happening sort of everywhere. It's just allowing time for flow, creativity, opportunities, but as well as being like, you know, in with you. So one way for me having like a bit of magic was having, you know, a couple of time off and reflecting on myself and just thinking about what I'm doing. And I'm like, holy shit, I need coaches for this, and this. I'm too caught up in being a coach myself that I actually need coaches for all these other things because I don't have the capacity for them anymore. So me thinking on, okay, I'm going to invest into this coach. Or me, I'm going to invest into that coach. It's one of the best things that ever happened. And just magic is happening since because it's sort of like I'm outsourcing it. So that's just another example of what happened. So I hope that makes sense for you. Hell yeah. The next thing that I want to get into, everyone looking at if they can see my screen, is the process of how it works. I think this is really important. If you're taking notes, this is really good here. So the process is essentially understand your vision and your purpose. If you haven't got that already, guys, please, we have it all in our community and programs. You can literally join for a month for $250, jump in, figure out your vision and your purpose, do the exercises, jump out, worst case scenario. If not, please find something else, research something else, buy a book on vision and purpose, listen to something, watch some YouTube videos, figure out what your vision and your purpose actually is and understand what that is. Because what that does is that gives you emotional commitment. If you don't understand what your vision and purpose is and you go, oh, you know what, maybe I should invest into this e-com course or this Shopify course. Maybe this is going to help me do what I do. And I want to sell salt lamps. So for example, I'm going to sell these salt lamps and you get halfway through and you just say, you know what, I don't give a shit about these salt lamps or what they do. I was just doing it because I wanted extra money or something. There's no emotional commitment there. So it's not part of your vision and your commitment and your purpose, which over a long period of time, having the energy to go and deal with all of the things for, you know, if your thing was creating an e-com business, that was your goal. For creating an e-com business, you won't have the energy and you're not going to get to the levels that you expect that you want to get to because it's not as passionate as something that you most want to do. So there needs to be emotional commitment, which if you don't have an emotional commitment, you don't have a vision and mission and purpose, that is essentially taking life by chance. Oh, I'm going to try this thing. Oh, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to try this thing and hope that it works out. Just risky business, not understanding those things. So I hope I've jammed that enough into people's brains. If you get that one thing, take away from this, it's like understand vision and purpose. Let's start creating goals. Use the templates I'm going to show you. The plan, which is so good. The benefits of having a plan is just clarifies your priorities. Instead of focusing too far or too much of the little things, like understand what do I most need to prioritize? Let's do these. If we don't have a plan, then your vision is purely just a pipe dream. Oh, I can't wait to have this thing and do this stuff. 2 years later, nothing happened. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the mindset that we want to get you into, guys. Process control, all right, this is the good stuff. The benefits of process control is having tools that align your daily plan with your goals, like a scorecard, sort of this thing, having a scorecard, putting things into a calendar, for example, having an accountability buddy, having someone that you're doing it with. What are the tools that you can use to make sure that your processes actually happen? I'd love calendar and reminders on my phone. I think are the best things ever. And then also using Notion apps like this that I can review and look into them. So if you don't, you're going to be frustrated because you're going to be having on and off days. Some days, yeah, I'm absolutely crushing it. Other days, I didn't do nothing happened. Where am I again? What's the thing happening? Oh goodness. Feeling lost out there. Measurement is the next process. So having a scorecard or somewhere where you inform decisions. What you can use, I've got like a whiteboard like right there. You can use a whiteboard. You can literally just create a piece of paper for yourself, write some things in here, or you can use something digital. But the whole purpose of having measurement is something that you can use and look at a daily basis multiple times. One of the reasons you get so good at social media or so good at consuming, you could say for an example, is just because you're on social media all the time. You know, if you know that if you're in a book and you're looking at a book every single day, it's like, how do you finish a book? Read one page a day. I love that saying. And if you're in the book and you're looking at it every single day, you're going to learn everything because you're up to date with what happened in the last 2 pages. Your brain's getting refreshed. What's happening on social media? We're so aware of everything that's happening, or people watching the news, they're watching it all the time. They're just aware of what's happening. And that sort of comes into your psyche and your unconscious and becomes who you are. So if you make the habit, Project 50 Trey, my man, of looking at whatever your plan is every day, regardless if you tick anything off it, just looking at it. Do I need to change things around? What is this? Making a habit of looking at your plan every day is going to get you there. If you don't, you're just going to be unclear on what's working and what's not working. How simple is that? Simple, but sometimes it takes courage, brave, discipline, integrity to go out there and crush it, which comes from an emotional commitment. And then having intentional time. So this is just having a little bit of time to reflect. That planning time that we talked about clarifies the yes and the no's for you. Is it actually aligned to my goals and my purpose? Is this good for me? Is it not? Unsure. Because if you don't have an intentional time and you get lost doing all the things, and guilty of this, this is one of the hardest things to work on, I believe, is the day controls you. You're not controlling your day. Damn, we all know when that happens. Does that all make sense? And does everyone understand those concepts? Everyone get the flow? Did they find that useful and beneficial?
Yep.
Essentially, one of the main things here is start at the top and go to the bottom. And if you haven't done them, invest in whatever areas that you need to figure out what they are. Because when they are in place and they are, and this is like, you know, we talk about what is doing the work, the question, right? What is doing the work? For some people, we have grand, like I'm sort of speaking to people who are similar like me in terms of how they think. But if you've got the grand goals and you've got these visions and you know these things that you want to do, the majority of the time, what is doing the work is sitting down with a pen and paper, writing it down, getting out your calendar, scheduling things in, making sure that you've got the right places. Okay, like a plan. I'm actually going to write out a plan. Okay, process control. I'm going to set up my calendar, put in the reminders. Oh, it's so tedious. I have to go into my calendar and set up the reminders. Okay, a measurement tool. I'm going to create a scorecard. I'm going to go like this, make a table, put these things, and I'm going to stick it on my wall, and I'm going to tick it every single day. And then intentional time is, oh, my alarm's gone off. I'm going to have an intentional time right now. I'm actually going to sit here and focus, turning my phone off, turning my computer off, turning this off. It's just me and a paper. What's working for me? What's not? That is literally what is called doing the work. Otherwise, you're just thinking about it and you're not doing anything. The difference between learning and taking action is huge. And it's just these small things which turn into great results in the end. It's great. Seems crazy stuff happen. So I hope that was beneficial. Okay, guys. Is there any questions in regards to anything else before I get into how to write the plans? As mentioned, this is a summary. There's a lot of other like sort of stuff here, but if there's any other questions or points, or if that's enough to sort of convince you to go, all right, I'm going to start crushing a plan. That's the best win for me. That means I've done my job so far. If there's not, is there any other questions or concerns for anything else for you writing your plan and starting your 12-week year? No one question? Surely there's one question. If someone's thinking that, oh, maybe I should ask, maybe I shouldn't ask. This is your chance. Jump in and ask. No questions too silly. I'm here to answer. You've got access to me. People in my community as well could connect you with the right person. Any questions? Cool beans. All right. Well, let's get on to it. So this is essentially the 12-week plan, and it's so simple and so easy. For people in my community, don't worry, you've got this. For people who want to have the templates and actually have this whole thing, I'll put in a link so that you can buy it and grab that and actually have that thing. If not, please take some notes, screenshots if you need to, so that you can create this yourself. So with the 12-week plan, essentially what you want to break things down to is into 1 to 3 goals, and that's it. For me, I actually did 4. I did 2 business goals for the 12 weeks, one lifestyle goal, and one fitness goal, which is easy. I'm just going to do a 3-day fast. So I'm like, well, I don't really need to put that too much in there, but I've put it in there, so I got to tick it off. This is it. And then how are you going to do them? What are the actual strategies to get there? I'll actually run through and I'll show you my guys mine real quickly, as it might make it really easy for you guys to see. So on mine here, for example, I'm like, cool, get 48 people into an all-in program. Strategy 1, hire an ads manager. Number 2, YouTube video between this. 3, Instagram post blog. This is all a lot of businessy stuff, but this is basically how I'm going to get there. Number 2 is a Spotland campaign. One of my friends is James Newbury, and he's one of the fittest people on earth, and he's done some massive success in health and business at the moment. And we're going to do a thing with him. It's going to be amazing. I'm like, okay, so what's the stuff that I need to do? What's the strategies in order to get there? Number 3 is I'd love to travel for some podcasts. I've got some clients and some people in Melbourne who I'd like to see, who I think would be awesome to podcast with. So I've got to reach out to them. That's my Thursday task for this week. Reach out for those. And then a 3-day fast and a 22K run. So I've got to book that in, which is really exciting. And then what are the strategies that I got to do to actually do that, hold myself accountable? And for me, I like to hold accountability on social media. So I'm going to post it on social media so that I'm accountable to make sure that I actually do it. So that's sort of how the goals work and the strategies for those. Is there any questions on that at all?
Yeah. Hey, Corey, just wanted to go through the, with that, setting that goal initially and finding those strategies towards it. It's just sitting down and taking the time to really look inward about what practical things you can put in place to achieve that overarching goal.
For sure, but definitely think strategy. So the question is goal, and then because there are other time in measurement here, there's one key, really important key for measurement, which changes your whole mindset to make sure that you get it done. And I'll share that in a minute. But with the goals, it's like, okay, so let's say, for example, we'll use Trey's goals of losing another 15 kilos. Well, it could be, for example, commit to a long-term personal trainer. Could be one thing on there. Another strategy would be track every single day that I'm eating, like as best as possible. Track my food is a strategy. What's another way on there? Make sure that I'm exercising every single day. So that's like real easy stuff. Okay, they're the actual strategies that are going to get you towards your goals. It's like, how are these things going to help me get there for whatever that most important goal is? And when you can list all of the most important ones that are practical to use, that you can actually do that are going to get you there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. So it's just real specific. What is my goal? Strategy. What am I actually going to do to get there? And it doesn't have to be like measurement stuff. Yeah. It's just like, okay, what's the main way? Like, it could be, for example, it could be like, well, could be, let's get a pay raise for the job. Could be your goal. I want to get a pay raise. So strategy number 1, be excellent at work. Be the best, better than everyone else. For whatever my targets are and my attitude and my mood, be the best. Strategy number 2, have multiple conversations with whoever is above me to have a pay raise. Because I need to convince them. They're the ones that tell the higher people that I need a pay rise to get to this thing. Be excellent at work, ask for a pay raise. That's what I'm going to have to do. So if that's your goal, there's the strategies to get there. So yeah, it takes time thinking about them. But what your goals when they're aligned with your vision and your purpose. So for example, if we're just using mine right now. So purpose, challenge to set the standard for all inspiring leaders. Goal, vision of people that are absolutely globally recognized because they're a part of the community and the coaching that we perform. Cool. So I'm going to need people to come in and have completely remarkable experiences. And I'm going to need enough people to start making a dent where the message is spread for enough people in such a good word and do such an amazing job with the people that we have onto the program that they're going to be recognized elsewhere. And they're going to tell people and they're going to tell people and they're going to tell people so that we can increase demand in the market and then start putting in some places and practice where it's going to be harder for barriers to entry to actually get into the community, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to need to really impact as many people's lives as possible that I have capacity to help, whatever that maximum is, and help them get there. How do I do that? Through content. So roughly what's the capacity? Well, it's roughly about 50 people every 3 months is what we've got full capacity for before increasing capacity measures for me. This is all businessy stuff, but I'm using myself as an example. Okay, cool. So how are you going to deliver a remarkable experience to 50 people and completely transform them? Well, I've got this community, I've got coaches, I've got all the mindset tools that we've got. We use group calls, we've got all these different things. We have community leaders in place. There's all these things here that are going to help people completely transform. Sweet. And you have to develop relationships. How are you going to do that? So we have all these questions, but the first thing is get people in, create remarkable experience. So that's why my goal for the first 12 weeks of the year is get a good group of people in and absolutely help them transform. Does that make sense? Because it's aligned with my vision and my purpose. Because if it's not, then there's no point. I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope you're just thinking, okay, well, for me, for example, it doesn't have to be that complicated, doesn't have to be as much stuff going on because I've been aware of my purpose for like 6 years now. When you're thinking about you, okay, what is my vision and my purpose? If I haven't got that, and I'm talking about this right now, I'm hoping if you haven't got your vision and purpose, you're going, holy shit, I need to get clear on my vision and my purpose. That's your one goal. Like for the 12-week year in 12 weeks, learn my vision and my purpose. If you know what your vision and your purpose is, and you're like, cool, okay, well, what are the things that's going to get me there as quickly as possible? If you're owning like a tradie business or something like that, it could be what happens for a lot of people that I work with who have tradie companies. If you own a business, it would be hiring people to help take some of the work away from you and getting more comfortable delivering a really good service and charging a little bit more money and then having repeat clients. That is a goal for someone who owns a tradie business. It could be, for example, your goal could be having a 6-month holiday or even just a 1-month holiday. It could be like, I want to take a holiday for a month. Okay. Goal, holiday for a month. How am I going to get there? I have to save a certain amount. I have to be able to get that amount of time off. Who do I want to go with and have experience with? Well, I probably needed to talk to them now. So hoping that is all sinking in. Is that all clear, guys? Clear as mud?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I went on there a little bit, but I really wanted that to sink in. The next important thing, so that's super easy, right? Goals and tasks, details below. You just write it all in. The scorecard is really important. Now, this is the big important mindset, guys. If you're about to take notes, this is it. This is it. Don't measure on results or progress. Measure on execution. If you measure on results or progress, we're human. We're going to make human errors. We're going to stuff up at some point. Oh, no, I didn't do this thing. And oh, no, I didn't do this thing. And that's going to create this self-punishment cycle in our own mind of punishing ourselves. We didn't do this. So you're not good. You're not any of this negative self-talk, blah, 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 blah. When you measure on execution, that's completely fine. It's like, well, I'm not going to get to my goals unless I execute, which I was talking beforehand. Go to your calendar, set it in, set the reminders, go in the app on your phone, download it, put it as a widget, set it up on your phone so that it sends you the reminder, comes through, wicked. It's scheduled in. I'm actually going to do it now. I've got the reminder. Now I have to sit down and do it. Spend the time planning, writing them down. Like that is executing, making sure that you're getting to your goals. Like this morning, I had one thing. One of my goals yesterday was on my scorecard was talk to someone in a spotlight campaign, which is James Newbury. So I called him this morning. He didn't answer, so I sent him a text message. But still, straight away, I was like, cool, that is my task for today. Let's call him. I'll speak to him at some point today to make sure that that's actually going to get done. That I can tick that off. That is executing. And I can mark that when I've got done. Now, if I didn't get to my goals, then all I'm looking at is, well, I just didn't execute enough. So maybe I need to change my goal a little bit or change how I execute things a little bit. And that is the measures that you look at things. The only reason that you're not achieving your goals is either the goals in the 12-week year, because your vision and your purpose, that's going to happen, right? Whatever your vision and your purpose is, you dedicate your whole life to that and you're going to die trying to get there. It doesn't matter when it's going to happen. Enjoy the journey getting there, but it's going to happen when you know what your vision and your purpose is. It will happen, especially if you're committed for the rest of your life. At some point, it's going to happen. Whether it's this year, 50 years, you don't know. But if you're committed to that, it's going to happen. So enjoy the journey along the process. So with your goals, with your 12-week years, you choose them. You choose your goals. So when you're executing, you notice like, whoa, that goal was too lofty. You know what I mean? For me, like 50 people in 3 months, whoo, that's a big goal, right? I might get to the end and say 30 people was probably better. So for the next 12-week year, let's do 35. Or change it halfway through. You know what? I'm executing enough right now. I'm executing for what I should be doing to hit 50 people, but it's not. The goal's off. Or I want to get 50 people into the program, but for me, I'm not executing enough. Okay, I need to execute more here. I need to put some more measures in for executing, which is awesome. So that takes the pressure off. It's not your fault. It's not no one else's fault. You don't have to get down on yourself. All it is I'm going to change my execution and measure that and change my goal setting. Now, how you measure your execution, let's say, for example, is, let's say one of these, you know what your goal is and you write it up here, right? And you've got your goal, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you total it up at the end of the week. That's when you schedule your time in. So podcast for me would be like, okay, I need to record a podcast by every Wednesday because my editor comes in, George comes in, edits it, and he puts it up on Thursday. So I need to record one podcast a week. That's it. I'm going to get to my goals and help people get in if I'm doing one podcast a week and posting it everywhere. Nice. So that's 1 for 1 executed. For example, shower could be a goal. I'm just putting it out here. It doesn't matter what the task is or the execution is. You want to do it 7 times. You're going to shower every day. Otherwise, you're ill. So you measure your execution. Did I do this every single day? Yes or no? Cool. Now, how you know that you're doing these things right is if you're at 65 to 70% of execution when you total this up. So what's the total? How many execution things did you get out of this? What was your execution? If it's 65 to 70%, that means you're getting there. And probably you need to look at some of the tools that you're using or accountability with other people and change them a little bit. How amazing is that? Like, so simple, right? You just need to schedule things in a little bit better if your execution is 65 to 70%. If your execution is 80% and above, no, you're probably going to hit your goals, because a lot of people over a year period of time, their execution for their goals is so small because they've got this one big goal for the year, that the execution right now is so small in order to get there. So if you understand your vision and your purpose, and you've made your goals, whatever they are for the 10, 12 weeks, and you're executing at 80%, you're going to get them. like chances are you're most likely going to get them, which is great. And it's like wicked. Now you just need to show up better. The 80% above is just your discipline. It's just your discipline. But the 65 to 70% is cool. We just need to change some tools. We're getting there. 60% or below, adjust your execution or your goals. I don't know, everyone, you should be taking notes right now. I'll be taking notes right now. 80% execution or above, awesome. Maybe more discipline. 65 to 70% execution, upgrade your tools. 60% execution or less, edit your tasks, your execution measures, or your goals. And that's it. One thing for you guys, I hope that'll make sense. And this is one challenge that I'd like to take away, is if you haven't got a calendar after this meeting, set it up. Could not tell you guys anymore how powerful that is. And set it up on a widget as your phone. If you can see my phone, you go like this and swipe across, my calendar and all my meetings are right here. I have notifications. I can see them immediately. So powerful. Number 2 is, if you need to find your vision or your purpose, and it's our program, you want to come in, chat to me or someone else. If you need to do something else and you need to find your vision and your purpose, as Nick mentioned, Simon Sinek, watch the video, send a text message to someone who you know, like talk to a friend, or book in a time to actually plan out what your vision and your purpose is. Do something in terms of calling or texting or something that is going to keep you accountable. And I love to use people to keep you accountable, close friends, family, or whatever it is, to help you find your vision and your purpose. If it's goal setting and whatever it may be, message someone right now, and you know your goals, message them or call them and tell them you need accountability, or call them and tell them what your goals are, or call them and tell them that you want to catch up with them and talk about goals together, whatever it may be. Or for example, if you know what one of your goals are immediately, like for me is like I do a campaign with somebody. There's like one of my ones, you know, there's just one person is a key person for whatever some of your goals are, or getting that first step moving forward. Text them right now. In terms of leadership training, a lot of stuff that I teach, this is really important, guys, is a lot of people think they assume that they need to research some things, Google some stuff, YouTube, listen to books, get a mentor, whatever it may be, to really upgrade their own leadership ability, where majority of it comes down to just asking some of the people them around they know, hey, where am I not a good leader and where am I a good leader? Just getting on the phone. Or if you really want to self-reflect, hey, I need some help, because you sit down with a pen and piece of paper and you go, oh, time to self-reflect and plan out my goals. Instead, you could just call someone close to you and say, hey, what do you think some good goals for me would be? Because the people around you know you better than you know yourself sometimes. And I think it's really important to create those connections and those relationships. So guys, that's essentially it. Is there any questions on anything? I'm just reading the chat. Or what was something that, if there isn't any questions, I'd love for you guys to ask questions. If there's anything that you thought good, please share, because I know other people would like to hear what that is. If there's anything that you're unclear on or think could be better, please ask, because other people are probably thinking the same thing and they'd like to ask me too. So what is that? And I'd love to have a conversation about it. We've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I had a question, Corey. So obviously, once you've got the plan and your goals sort of in place, how would you deal with stuff that would come up that might not distract you from the goals, but might be like a roadblock or something like that? How would you sort of deal with that in terms of,
I'd love to hear an example.
So just an example is to say, if your goal was to make sort of 100 grand by the end of the year, but for an example, someone might, lose their job or fall ill or something like that, where they weren't able to sort of progress towards that goal. What would you sort of do in that situation? Would you change the goal, or would you try and sort of work around it one other ways?
Plan for it beforehand.
Yeah.
For sure. So if that's the thing, but in majority of the cases, if something like that happening, just in that specific scenario, the risk of that, the chances of that happening is actually very low.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of when you're planning your goals, maybe I would suggest you to do a suggestion in there if you're worried about, okay, these things in here are helping me pivot. One of the best things about the 12-week year is within 12 weeks, not so much is really going to happen. And if something does happen within the 12 weeks, you may or may not have time to still finish the 12 weeks. All right, let's pause it. Let's put it on pause here for a minute for whatever those goals may be. However, if you are worried, it would just be doing quickly, okay, what are the 5 to 10 biggest risks commonly going to happen? 1 to 10, the most potential risks that are going to come out of that. What will I do if those risks happen? Put into the plan. It's just spending some time thinking about the risks. But if a huge roadblock, comes in, that's one of it's just one of the beauties of the 12 weeks, right? Because you have that time afterwards before you create your next 12-week plan. So fingers crossed that happens in the break, but you're going to have time regardless of what it is. You could say, for example, in the next 8 weeks, or let's say the next 10 weeks, someone close to you passes away, and it's like, cool, you got to organize the funeral. Awesome. It's like, well, there's going to be time at the end of this where you're going to have a lot of period of time before you set some of your next 12-week plans. So you've got all the time to organize it, grieve, talk, communicate, connect with the people close to you, so that you can process those things and have the time to do it. But let's say, for example, let's have a goal of, getting 100 subscribers on a podcast. Let's just say that was the goal. No matter what hurdle comes in the way, that's not really going to affect it too much. That's like, okay, well, I'd have to change my execution now. It's going to be less. Maybe my goal, I'll just shorten it a little bit to 60. Or I could keep it there. Depending on.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. The benefits of definitely the benefits of the 12-week year is that it's so short. Sprint for it. Any other questions?
I think this is more so just a bit of a limiting belief that's been crushed for me. It's like, 12 weeks, like you say, is a sprint. You've got 4 opportunities throughout the year to do so much. And it's, for me, it's been like, oh, okay, for the next 12 weeks, ABC is what I'm going to be focused on. And then I'm going to evaluate, take some time away. And then, like, if I've crushed those goals, I'm going to have another 12 weeks as an opportunity to crush more. I think it's, for me, it's been a big realization that the power that 12 weeks has is more than 52 weeks in the year.
Yes. Absolutely love that. I had the same realization and I'm 100% committed to it. It feels good. Hey, I feel like all this pressure.
It does.
Like, yeah, it's 12 weeks. Let's get it. Like, gets me excited. Oh, don't worry about the big old lofty goals. They're going to come. They're going to come.
Yeah.
Just smash these 12 weeks. Fuck everything else.
For sure.
Oh, I
For
love
sure.
that. Thanks for sharing, Oscar. Any other points, guys?
Yeah, I've got just sort of a reflection just of what you just said about plan for absolutely everything. Plan for like the worst thing to happen, because this is literally happening to me right now, where I watched the last masterclass and I made all these plans, but that was just how I was living at that stage. And now I've currently like moved down to Melbourne and I'm going on holiday and stuff for a bit, but I put myself in a really fucked up position and it's like really difficult for me to do anything right now. And if I had planned for this before, I wouldn't be in this position. So I was too busy thinking about what I was already doing and the position that I was in. I didn't really think about planning anything when I came down to Melbourne. So, and now I'm down here and some shit's happened and I'm sort of stuck. So yeah, I really say that yeah, plan for the worst and plan for everything.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that should be weaved into your 12-week goals. Like, for example, a lot of people on here, I like to talk in mine at the moment, are all currently a lot of business goals, but they shouldn't just be business goals. Like for me, I have one lifestyle goal and that's traveling for work, which is really good. Another lifestyle goal was getting like fit. At one stage of this year, one of my goals will probably be moving houses, for example, into something else. So what is the plans with those? Okay. So moving houses, what are the strategies that I need to do in order to move house? So example for like Louis, when you're getting stuck when those things happen, like they don't happen because you've planned for it and you've understood your goal. So within your 12-week year, plan, like understand your vision and your purpose, but also what is coming up, include those as well, because it's 12 weeks. And like for me, moving house, like one stage, like when I moved up to Queensland and like just trying to find a rental property in Gold Coast is crazy, right? It took like a week and a half of just nonstop. I think I sent in like 60 something applications until I got a place. It's like, if I knew that beforehand and like work all went down and all these things, and I was like, oh, this is taking up story of my life. But if I knew, okay, I'm planning, one of my things for this in the next 12 weeks is to get a place in Gold Coast. And my other goal is to get 5 new clients. Could be something like that. Business and lifestyle goal. I'm keeping, they're my 2 goals for the 12 weeks. They're going to help me get to my vision and purpose as quickly as possible. Then you can start putting all the strategies down that are going to get there. And you're thinking about the risks and you're thinking about the things that are coming up. So within a 12-week period, before you go and reflect on all those things and understand what's happening, you're writing down the strategies, it should be mitigated. So thanks for bringing that up, Lewis. That was like a real valid point. I think that's really good to think about.
Yeah, I thought I was doing the right thing, but because I was too busy thinking about the main goals and all this thing, I didn't really think about the little details, and now it's sort of screwed me.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to see, if you do get time to sort of go over for your next 12 weeks, one of your goals is getting out of it. I'd love to see some of the strategies in there posted up in the group, man. That would be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, I'll be overseas then, but for probably the next few months. But yeah, it's just a now thing. Hopefully I can sort out in the next week or 2.
All the best to you, man. I hope you can crush it. Is there any other questions or comments from anyone else? Nope. Sweet. Well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Obviously, this recording will be put up online somewhere. We'll let you guys know where that is and when that is and everything that's happening. I just want to say a huge appreciation to you guys. Like, I love coming in Tuesdays, the 3rd of January. You've got people coming here, some action takers ready to absolutely crush it. It makes me really proud and it makes me really happy to see you guys here and know that we're doing something really good. And I hope you guys got some benefit from this. Before we leave though, I would love and absolutely appreciate if everyone wouldn't mind putting a post on social media just saying like, woohoo, at the masterclass. That would be absolutely amazing for me. I would love that. I'm going to get a photo while we're at it. And yeah, and then we'll bounce out, get along with our days, go out there and create our plans, guys.
Sweet. Thanks, Corey.
Woohoo. Thank you, Louis.
Cheers, Corey.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Corey.
Big love.
Corey.
Thanks for coming on, Frankie.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
See you guys. Hope you liked it. Hope you
Thanks,
liked it,
mate.
guys. Big love. Kings. Trey, baby.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah,
You're wicked.
big love.